Hey everyone, it's Danny Do It All, and today I'm going to show you how to change out the oil in your car. So it's a really easy thing to do, and it could save you a lot of time and money. So I kind of just wanted to show you the things that you're going to need when you're changing your own oil. First thing we're going to go ahead and start off with is your oil pan right there. You're going to have a funnel to fill up your engine with new oil. Have 3/8 ratchet and 13mm socket. For your drain plug, I have a small screwdriver right here to go ahead and take the O-ring off of the oil filter. And then this is my oil filter wrench, new oil filter and new oil. And I'm going to be working on a 2006 Ford Fusion. It's a 4-cylinder 2.3 liter engine, and it takes a 5W20 oil. So the first thing I want to talk about is choosing the right oil and oil filter for your car. If you don't know what oil your car takes, just refer to your owner's manual, and it'll have that information on there. A lot of times cars will say what oil it takes on top of the oil fill cap right here, and mine takes 5W20. I like to use a synthetic oil just because I like to go longer between oil changes, and the owner's manual actually recommends a synthetic blend. I just go with a full synthetic so that I can go longer range. And for the oil filter, I refer to the owner's manual to make sure that I do get the right oil filter. And if you go into an auto parts shop, you can just let them know what car you have, and they'll help you get the right oil filter and oil for your car. So the next thing that I'm going to do, because my car doesn't have much clearance to get underneath it, I'm going to go ahead and lift it up. Some cars, some trucks and things like that, you can kind of just squeeze underneath them and get to the drain plug. But unfortunately, I can't do that with mine. I'm going to go ahead and lift up the car so that I can get to the drain plug that's underneath the engine. Make sure that you do put your emergency brake on, and that you do block off the back wheels to make sure your car doesn't roll when you lift it up into the air. Okay everyone, so I just finished putting the car up on jack stands. Make sure that you do use jack stands to make sure that you stay safe. And I have blocked off the back wheels, and I put a piece of 2x12 behind the back wheels just to help make sure it doesn't roll with the emergency brake applied. So also one other thing that I did before we got started was I warmed up my engine slightly just to make sure you get the oil warm inside of the engine. That way you can ensure to get just about all the oil out of the engine. Some of it's still going to be left behind, but it's going to be very little, and we just want to try to make sure that we get the most out of there. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where the drain bolt is located, as well as where the oil filter is located. So we're just going to go ahead and get underneath the car here. Okay, so right here near the front of the car is my oil filter housing and oil filter cover. So what we're going to do is we're going to get an oil filter wrench, and we're going to take that off shortly. The next thing I'm going to show you is where the drain plug is for this car, and what you're going to look for is your oil pan right here. Most cars' oil pan will look similar to that, and the drain bolt will be located right here on the back side of the oil drain pan, and mine's actually a 13mm bolt here. Alright, so I have my drain pan here ready, and I also have a 13mm socket to remove our drain bolt here. And when you change out your oil, make sure that you use some gloves and that you have plenty of either rags or paper towels just to help clean everything, keep everything clean. So we're getting close to the removing the drain plug, and the oil is gonna shoot out to the back, so make sure that you do have your drain pan set accordingly, because the oil will kind of shoot out of the pan there. So after removing our drain bolt for our oil, we're going to go over to where the oil filter is housed, and I have my oil filter wrench right here, and we're just going to go ahead and remove the cover for the oil filter. make sure you have your oil pan underneath it. So we're just going to go ahead and remove this. So one thing that I do want to show you with the oil filter cap right here, this is the drain bolt for the oil filter. I actually just skipped that step and I just go ahead and remove the entire cap and just make sure that I do have a big drain pan underneath it so it doesn't get everywhere. But what you can do is remove this, drain the oil out of the oil filter housing, and then go ahead and remove this cap. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the new oil filter, and we're going to show you how to put that in next. Okay, now that we have our oil filter cap off, we're going to go ahead and remove this old O-ring right here. Just like that. Once you get the old O-ring off, go ahead and kind of just clean up. I like to clean up this old oil here. Once you clean up your old oil, you should get new O-rings with your new oil filter. And go ahead and just take these out of the package. On the new O-ring, what you do is take a little bit of new motor oil and kind of put it on the O-ring there, kind of get it all over the O-ring, just so that it doesn't stick to the metal housing. We're just gonna slip that on. Just like that. So we have some new motor oil on there, and now it's ready to go back. Well, actually, just about ready to go back. We'll put our new oil filter, slide it on there, and now it's ready to go back onto the engine there. Alright everyone, so we're back underneath the car, and the next step that we're going to do is go ahead and kind of just clean up the housing here, the inside of the housing, make sure it's nice and clean. Alright, once that's clean, we can go ahead and put our cap back on here. Make sure that you do have the new oil on this O-ring right here, just to make sure it doesn't stick to the block. So we're just going to go ahead and put that in. Got my oil filter wrench. And we want to make sure that we don't over tighten this. So we're going to go to where we just see that it seals up to the block. And right there. So it just touched the block. So we're good. Alright, our next step is going to go and put on the drain plug back on, and we're going to move over there next. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this drain plug back in, and we're going to go ahead and also wipe this one down. Just make sure you have a nice clean surface so that the bolt doesn't leak at all. Alright, go ahead and put our drain plug back in. I went and cleaned off the drain bolt as well. Just have it nice and clean, make sure there's no dirt on the surface here. Alright, I'm going to tighten this up. And so we're gonna go ahead and torque this to 19 foot-pounds. Alright, now that we have put the drain bolt back in and also the oil filter and the oil filter cap back on, we're going to go ahead, we lower the car down and we're going to go ahead and fill it up. I know that my car takes 4.5 quarts of oil, so make sure you get a nice clean funnel. Take off the filler cap and put that on there. We're going to get our new motor oil and start filling it up. So I'm using a 5W20 full synthetic oil. This is number 2. Alright, so that's 4. Once I have 4 in there, we're going to go ahead and check the level to just see where it's at right now. So when you're checking the level for the engine oil, what you're going to do is make sure that your car is on level ground to make sure that you get an accurate reading. And then right now we're just trying to get a rough estimate because we're going to have to start the car back up, let it run for a little bit, and then check the engine oil again. So the first time that you pull it out, just go ahead and just wipe it. Disregard that first reading. It's not going to be accurate. Pull it out. We're about almost halfway between the low and high mark right now, so we can add a little bit more oil. Alright everyone, so I just finished running the engine for a few minutes and shut it back down, and we're just going to go ahead and do our final oil check, make sure that we're all good to go. So again, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, just wipe the first one down, and then we're going to go ahead and put it back in. Make sure that you push it all the way back in and then pull it out to make sure we get a good reading there. And it looks like we're on the lower side here, so we're going to have to add some more oil. Take off your filler cap, put your funnel in, put some more oil in. And the reason that it dropped is because all that oil went into the oil filter housing and filled that reservoir up, and we got oil circulated throughout the engine. Put a little more in there. Make sure you clean this off good. So we're about halfway up. Just gonna add a tiny bit more. Oh, so I don't have to wipe that down. Make sure you get all the way down in there. Pull it out. Yeah, we're about 3/4 of the way up now, so we're looking good. And that is how you change your engine oil at home. It takes about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and you're all set to go. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and hit like, and thank you very much. Make sure that I keep the videos coming to help you guys out there save money and time so you can do stuff on your own. Thank you.